Joining us in studio this morning is a man who's won 20 Emmy Awards. He's hosted the longest-running syndicated talk show in television history. Phil Donahue pioneered an entertainment format that paved the way for Oprah, Ellen, and so many others. Phil is also a very outspoken person who pulls no punches in his political and moral beliefs. His feelings on the Iraq War have led him to lend his name, creativity, and checkbook to the award-winning documentary Body of War, which opens Friday night at Landmark's Varsity Theater. And it features a soundtrack by, yes, he's in the background, Eddie Vedder. Phil Donahue, welcome to Seattle and the Bob Rivers Show. Hello.
Pleasure, Bob. Thank you.
What a thrill to meet you.
Well, thank you. Good to meet you.
Does the term icon, does it make you feel good, or is it, does it feel a little...
It makes me feel like a plaque, you know, but it's very flattering. So I'm trying to... As you know, I have a worldwide reputation for humility.
Yes, of course.
Wow, well put.
And now, before we get into this movie, which we will put a link on our website and a story about the movie to make it really easy for everyone to check it out. What else are you doing these days? What is your like passion, both professionally and even in private? Like, do you garden or something?
Well, Marlowe dusts around me. I'm at home watching O'Reilly. The truth,
sure.
The truth is, we've been at this 3.5 years
making this movie.
Yeah.
It's been an all-consuming passion.
Oh my! I mean, this has been an odyssey. This is I've never had this close a view of somebody who's had this kind of challenge. This has really been something for us, and here we are out there in Landmark theaters and. Finally, on the Bob Rivers Show, we're very pleased to have
knew you were
platform.
looking forward to. And now this story, Thomas's coming home story from Iraq, involves a real guy.
Yes, indeed.
And he's special. He's special. Why?
Well, first of all, I found him at Walter Reed. I was at Walter Reed. I walked into his room. I met his mother. This young man is 24 years old at the time. And whacked on morphine, very heavily medicated. In no way could he communicate. So his mother's briefing me on his injury. He's a T4. The bullet came down through his shoulder and exited between his T4, as anatomists know, and I'm learning, is what you can touch on your spine if you raise your hand above your shoulder and drop it down as far as you can to touch your back. That's T4. He is paralyzed from the nipples down. So Thomas can't
including
walk.
The nipples? I mean, I hate to ask, but I know Spike wanted to ask that.
Well, listen, Thomas would laugh at that. Thomas has a wonderful sense of humor. I mean, we're watching a young man trying to get his life back.
And I saw the movie. There is a scene that deals with the exact issue of, he gets married in this movie. He can, do some things.
Guy like that, this is not down. He's not depressed.
He has his time. He has his moments. He looks out the window and he's jealous of people who can walk. Thomas can't cough. Thomas's respiratory system is disabled. His body can't cool in the heat, so he wears ice gels in a vest to keep his body cool. 24 years old, erectile dysfunction. What's a sacrifice to you? This is what the American people are not seeing. This is the most sanitized war in our history.
So you've seen a lot in all of your years, and you've tried to bring. I think you and Oprah have a reputation for standing above the fray in when it comes to these talk shows. You've tried to bring this stuff out, and we have some people doing it today. But why is there more in the media coverage of the sacrifice of the the human side of this? Is it because people it may not get the ratings, or is it some people say there's a conspiracy for one side or another. What is it? Is it financial? Is it the business prospects of this sort of thing? For example, when you're making a movie like this, do people tell you, it's not going to be a big movie, it's going to be an independent film?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
This is a financial issue. Being against the war, certainly in October 2002, which was the month of the Iraq War resolution being passed by Congress, you couldn't pop off against the war. You could if you were funny. You had Franken was against the war. Colbert Daily. Imus was against the war. Oppose this war, ba-dum-bum. You couldn't be Bill Moyers, and you sure couldn't be Phil Donahue. I had a very short, unhappy life at MSNBC, and a memo leaked to the New York Times revealed that my problem was I was against the war, and the competition was waving the flag. That's what the memo said. So it isn't good for business. In October 2002, if you were General Electric or if you were a big media giant, you didn't want some gray-haired ex-talk show host criticizing our president. You were unpatriotic. You didn't support the troops. You weren't American, and you didn't believe in God.
Bill Maher lost his ABC primetime evening gig because
Who did?
of it. Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Politically incorrect.
Yes, he did.
Does being completely right vindicate you at all? Do you get any kind of comfort from that? Because you were completely right.
You don't, 4,000 plus dead guys and women coming home from this war in pine boxes. Phil Donahue's not going to be running around the country say I was right. This is a massive blunder.
Yeah.
And it is largely unfelt by the American people. They don't see it. Bush said you can't take pictures of the coffin, and the entire press establishment said, okay. So we've folded here, no question. I mean, that's hardly an original comment. I think everybody agrees.
Well, in this movie, not only do you document Thomas's story, but you document the blunder pretty well when you put all the debate, for the resolution to go to war. You have all this archival footage of all these senators getting up there and going along with this. And it was only really Senator Robert Byrd is the one guy saying, wait a minute here,
Well, I very much appreciate you mentioning that, because that's a very important part of our film. This is unbelievable. This is the most superficial, bumper sticker debate you can imagine. They took the White House talking points. I mean, grown people in Congress on the floor of the House and the Senate. A smoking gun will become a mushroom cloud. The longer we wait, the more dangerous he becomes. You can feel the heartbeat of the nation. This president scared the hell out of the country, took it by the ear, and led it right into the sword. This is amazing what you can do if you scare the people.
Phil, now that we're there, though, what do we do next? In other words, do we just pull out? Because that would cause all kinds of chaos. What do you recommend at this point?
I'm not sure what will happen if we pull out, but I do know what will happen if we stay. More and more Americans and Iraqis will die. Are you prepared to send your child to Iraq right now? This was a mistake. Almost 3/4 of us in this nation believe this. Imagine, my view is the popular one now. We're going to have to get used to this, being in the majority. And we're sending more young men to die for a mistake. This isn't about protecting freedom. This is about face. This is about old men in Washington who, by the way, want to prove they're tough and would never think of sending their own kids to fight this war. This is about faith. We're saying that no young life is worth an old man's face. And we believe if we went to the moon, we can get out of here in a safe way, hoping that we will get a coalition of nations. Certainly the UK has a responsibility with us to protect perimeters. We have to. This war is unfair to the American troops. We have Iraqis supposed to be on our side, dropping their guns and running away from the American troops with whom they were supposed to be fighting.